Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video, we will be doing steps 41 through 69 of the Cafe Menu Challenge on freecodecamp.org. We previously did all of the other steps leading up to this, and if you haven't seen that yet, I will link them down below so you can if you want to. Step 41. Now go ahead and change both the flavor and price class widths to be 50% again. So right now we have them set to 49. We're going to change that to 50. And we're going to change that to 50, like that. Step 42, now that you know how it works, you can change the remaining article and P elements to match the first set. Start by adding the class item to the other article element. So we added the class item to the article element, so we're going to put that here. Class equals item. And then we're going to put that here. Class equals item. We're putting it in all of the opening tags, that's where it goes. Item, item, and right there. Next, position the other P elements to be on the same line with no space between them. Okay, so basically we're just going to use the backspace like that. And we're going to do that on this one. And like that. And we're going to do it for this one. Oops. And last one right here. Like that. To complete the styling, add the applicable class names flavor and price to all of the remaining P elements. Okay, so this P element has the flavor, so we're going to put the class flavor, and this one has the class price. Well, this one has the price text in it, so we're going to give it the class price. Okay, so all of the other P elements with the flavor, I'm just going to copy and paste that, and I'm going to put it right here, and right here, and right here. Now I'm going to copy and paste class price for all of the P elements with class in it, so I'm going to put it right here, and right here, and right here, like that. And that spaces everything how it needs to be. If you make the width of the page preview smaller, you will notice at some point some of the text on the left starts wrapping around to the next line. This is because the width of the P elements on the left side can only take up 50% of the space. Since you know the prices on the right have significantly fewer characters, change the flavor class width to be 75%. That's going to be 75, and change the price class width to be 25%. You will come back to styling the menu in a few steps, but for now, go ahead and add a second section element below the first for displaying the desserts offered by the cafe. Okay, so below this, we're just going to add another section element. Opening tag and closing tag. Like that. Oops, we deleted that one. There we go. Add an H2 element in the new section and give it the text desserts. H2 desserts. Add an empty article element under the desserts heading. Give it a class attribute with the value item, like that. Step 49. Nest two P elements inside your article element. The first one's text should be donut, and the second one's text should be 1.50. Put them both on the same line. So like we did with the other ones, they need to be on the same line, like that. Step 50, for the two P elements you just added, add dessert as the value of the first P element's class attribute. And the value price as the second P element's class attribute. Like that. Step 51. Something does not look right. You added the correct class attribute value to the P element with the donut as its text, but you have not defined a selector for it. Since the flavor class selector already has the properties you want, just add the dessert class name to it, like this. Alright, step 52. Below the dessert you just added, add the rest of the desserts and prices using 3 more article elements, each with 2 nested P elements. So below that, we're going to put another article element. We're going to have 2 P elements. The first one is going to have that. And then the second P element is going to have 2.75. Like that. And each of them should have the correct dessert, all of the correct classes. So this is going to have the class dessert, and this is going to have the class price. And then our closing article element tag, and then we're going to put another one, and this one's going to be dessert with the text cheesecake. And then we're going to have another one with the class price with the text 3.00. Closing article tag, and then we're going to put one more right here with a P element class dessert with the text cinnamon roll, and then another one with the text the class price and the text 2.50, like that. And then finally our final closing article tag, like that. You should have, and then we need to also make sure that all of the P elements are on the same line, so there are no spaces between them. At step 53, you can give your menu some space between the content and the sides with various padding properties. Give the menu class a padding left with the same value, 20 pixels, and padding right, 20 pixels, like that. (54) That looks better. Now try to add the same 20 pixels padding to the top and bottom of the menu. So we're going to put that for the top. 20 pixels and 20 pixels. Since all 4 sides of the menu have the same internal spacing, go ahead and delete the 4 properties and use a single padding property with the value 20 pixels. So we're going to delete that. And, oh yeah, and that too. And just have one like this. The current width of the menu will always take up 80% of the body element's width. So we're going to add a max width with a value of 500 pixels. Alright, you can change the font family of text to make it look different from the default font of your browser. Change all of the text in your body by adding a font family property with the value sans serif, like that. So we're going to change the H1 and H2 and give them a different font of impact. You can add a fallback value for the font family by adding another font name separated by a comma. So we're going to put that there. Make the established 2020 text italicized by creating an established class selector and giving it the font style italic, like that. Now apply the established class to the text. So we're going to give that a class of established, and that will make the text italicized. Alright, the typography of heading elements is set by default. Add 2 new type selectors, H1 and H2. Use font size. Okay, so we need to make these separate. And we're going to add font size for the H1 is going to be 40 pixels. And then for the H2 it's going to be 30 pixels. '63, add a footer element below the main element where you can add some additional information. Inside the footer, add a P element, the nest and anchor element, and the P that links to this link right here and has the text visit our website, like that. Your new text should have visit our website, and make sure there's no typos, like that. Add a second P element below the one with the link and give it the text 123 free code camp drive. you can use an HTML element to display a divider between sections of different content. So add an HTML element between the P element with the class established and the first section element. So for the class established, that would be right here, and then we're going to put an HR right there. And note that they are self-closing. The default properties of an HR element will make it appear as a thin, light gray line. You can change the height of the line by specifying a height property. So it's going to be 3 pixels. You can change the background color of the HR element to brown. Like that. Notice the gray color along the edges of the lines. These are known as borders. So we're going to make all of the edges the same color by adding the border color property, and that will also be brown. Notice how the thickness of the line looks bigger. The default value of a property named border width is 1 pixels. By changing the border to the same color as the background, the total is 5. So change the height to be 2 pixels. Go ahead and add another HR element between the main element and the footer element. So add 20 pixels of space on the inside of the body element using the padding property. 20. So target all of the P elements nested in elements of the class named item and set their top and bottom margin to be 5 pixels. So all the P elements with the class item and set their top and bottom margin to be 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Using the same style selector in the previous step, make the font size larger by using a value of 18 pixels. So I'm going to make the font size 18 pixels. Alright, so create a class named bottom line using the 25 pixels for the margin top property. That 25 pixels. Now add the bottom line class to the HR element so the styling is applied. Now you're going to be styling the footer element, so add a comment at the end of styles CSS with the text footer. So make all of the text have a value 14 pixels for the font size. The footer element. $14 pixels. Alright, to make the footer links the same color regardless if a link has been visited, use a type selector for the anchor element and use the value black for the color property. So, anchor element A just want to have A and use the value black for the color property, like that. And you can change the properties of a link when the link has actually been visited with something that looks like this. So, visited A, and then the color is going to be gray. You should set the color. So that will just end up looking like this. So you can change properties of a link. Okay, so we're going to change the color of the photo visit our website link to be brown, like this. And so we're going to have color brown, like that. You can change properties of a link when the link is actually being clicked by using this. Active color will be white, like that. To keep with the same color theme, you have already been using black and brown. Change the color for when the link is visited to black, right there. That's going to be black. And use brown for when the link is actually clicked, right there. Brown. The menu text Campo Cafe has a different space from the top than the space at the bottom. Change the top margin to 0. To remove some of the vertical space between the H1 element and the text, establish 2020, change the bottom margin to 15 pixels. To decrease the default margin space between the address P element, create a class selector named address and use the value. We're going to have this, and we're going to have 5 pixels. Now apply the address class to the P element containing the address right here. Like that. Okay, so under the copy heading, add an image. Image using this. In double quotation marks. And we're going to have alt coffee icon. like that. Okay, so we're going to create an IMG type selector and use the value block for the display and use the applicable margin left and margin right values, which is, and then margin right. And we'll see what, and they both need to be set to auto, like that. Add one last image under the desserts heading using this. Giving it a out of pie icon. Alright, so add a negative top margin to the IMG elements. Negative 25 px. Alright, that is all for this video. I hope you found that helpful. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and check out what we will be naming next time, so be sure to stay tuned.